Happy Friday, everybody. It is Penny and Kim, and we are lighting up your Friday with the 5 stars of strengthening families. Our topic is going to be knowledge of parent and child development. So for the next 4 weeks, that is what our topic is going to be. And we're going to be going into some discussions around that. But before we begin, we're going to do our check-in from last week. Penny, do you want to go ahead and do that?
Sure, thanks. Welcome, everyone. So at the end of our last session, we talked about looking at balance. So we talked about screen time. So how does technology help build stronger relationships, and how does it get in the way? So we asked you to just, again, have a look, notice in your own family, in your own situation, what was true for you. Did you find that it was more helpful? Did you find that it was hindrance? Were you successful in trying to maintain a balance between using it to, to make your life better? And then, yeah, so I hope you had a chance to take some time to notice what was happening. Today, as Kim said, we're going to get into the knowledge component. So Maya Angelou has a lovely quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong. And she says, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." So that to me summarizes this component, this next 4 weeks about parenting and child development and knowledge around those things, that we're all working the best we can with what we have and what we know. And sometimes we're working with lower capacities even when we do know stuff. So keep that in mind as you listen to us talk, that most of the time we're talking about the times when you're at your best capacity. And don't beat yourself up if you feel like, we're asking you to strive for something that's not realistic. But we're going to talk a little bit about that too, about how you can notice, just how good of a parent you already are. All right, so specifically today, the question is, how do you know what your children need as they grow? So not so much focusing on what they need, but how do you know that? How do you know that? So Kim, I'm going to ask you to take us on that little journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but before I do, I want to just speak quickly to what you had said previously about when we know better, we do better, but you had said in the capacity. So that's a really good point, I think, I want to expand on just a little bit, because even though sometimes we know better, we don't have the ability to do better because of the situation that we're in. So cutting ourselves some slack and understanding that we're always doing the best that we can, depending on the situation that we're in. So that was really, really lovely to hear you say that. So thank you for sharing that. So how do you know what your children need as they grow? I think for me, it automatically makes me think of the way I was raised, my parents, and sort of not only I learned from them not only what to do, but also what not to do, right? Some things that just didn't, I remember as a teenager thinking, I'm never going to do that or say that, and then of course, 15 years later, I'm doing that and saying that. And have a deeper understanding and appreciation for why my parents might have done that or said that. And it could very well have been because of the capacity, like you spoke of, the situation that they were in, the stress that they were under, those kind of things. They were doing the best that they could, and with the knowledge that they had at the time. How about you, Penny? What are some of the things how did you get the information to know? What's the question here? How do you know what your children do as they grow?
So I have a pretty strong belief in some instinctual, innate abilities, right? So we know that relationship is important in parenting, and I think that often people are doing that based on their you know, the human's instinct to connect and to be a part of a group. We're social creatures, and it's like essential. Feeling connected is essential. So I think a lot of that comes out in our parenting without us really being aware. You know, I might even say more so in the female brain, but that nurturing sort of capacity, maintaining the relationship. So that's one big thing. And then I love to learn. So from, you know, from a personal perspective as a parent, you know, bringing my daughter to the Parent Link Center at that time. So now your Family Services Center, or FCSS, participating in programs and talking to other parents and taking classes. You know, I felt really fortunate that even in a small rural community, I had access to triple P parenting classes, and you know, a family support worker who could sort of direct me. And yeah, and I just wanted to say about what you said, that I think that's really important to recognize what your own parents did well, as opposed to, and also what, I love that how you said that you know, sometimes it sneaks out, because how we were parented is basically our education on parenting, right?
Yeah.
And so much of it is a reactive, because it's just there. So sometimes that's a benefit, and sometimes for me that can be a bit of a drawback, like you said, when I hear my one mother coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that there's some intuitive parenting or instinctual parenting, that because we are mammals and that we will parent in certain ways, and and then there's what we learned, so our environment, so from our parents, whether it was positive or negative, there's still much to be learned, either in what we do or don't do, in seeing our friends and family, other family members too. And then from the community, there's support networks out there that, you know, I too agree. I remember, this is going to date me, but I remember trying to get that information from a magazine, Parent Magazine, Parenting Today, I think it was called, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I would always pick up those magazines and just read through them. Now we have that information even more readily available right in your community, which is really cool. And it was there with my second child, so I was able to access those. That's how I found out about the services. I was able to access them in my little small town. So we're very fortunate to have these resources available to us. Family Resource Network, now it's called, and other parenting. I mean, there was Play School, there was other resources as well.
And so speaking specifically to development, one of the excellent resources that you can access through your FCSS or your FRN network is the Ages and Stages questionnaires. So those just help us as parents to understand what sort of is a typical development and where our child is in that, and also, you know, ideas for how we can help them thrive, and understand a little bit about what we can expect from them. So sometimes in parenting, our expectations aren't on level with their capabilities. So that's a really important component to knowledge, is knowing, okay, well, if I expect them to be able to do this and they actually can't do it, that's going to create some friction, right? So Kim, do you have a few more details about the ASQs and where people can access them? And
the Ages and Stages developmental questionnaire are a really great educational piece, first of all, for parents to know kind of what might be expected. Oh, my child's 24 months. Oh, I never even thought that they might, you know, be able to hold a pencil. I don't usually give them pencils because I'm worried they're going to write on the wall. So then, you know, the parent is able to start giving them the opportunity to do those kind of things. So it looks at the things like fine motor skills, gross motor skills, personal social skills, communication, those kind of things, and social emotional as well. So those can be done actually online, even right from the comfort of your home. Just, you know, clicking on a link. We can send you a link, or so that you can do that Ages and Stages developmental questionnaire yourself. And then there's also, that made me think of actually the Children's Allied Health. They are also a really great resource for helping your child meet those developmental milestones as well. I know they were just so helpful with me when my firstborn was had low muscle tone, and so the physiotherapist and they all came and were able to help with that, and they're very good resource. And also the other resource that I was thinking of is parents as teachers too. They can be a really awesome resource. There's lots that's available to us in our communities. But anyways, the Ages and Stages developmental questionnaire and social emotional questionnaire is available. You can do it on paper or you can do it online. So it's at our fingertips as well, at your fingertips as well.
Yes. So, you know, we're not just promoting ourselves, but we're promoting the idea of knowledge is power, and that it is readily available, it's easily accessible, it's inclusive, you know, especially now with, you know, there's online has removed a lot of barriers. I mean, it is still sometimes a barrier for people, but so please visit our website, www.fcss.ca, or you can find the link to the Ages and Stages, and your responses will be sent to the family support worker in your community when you put down where you live. And there's also access to all different kinds of parenting classes that you can take if you're interested in increasing your knowledge at all about how you want to know about your child and how they're developing. Yeah. So our challenge for the week is sort of, again, just noticing, looking, you know, at your own self and your own family, and how you know, do you know how your child's growing and developing? Do you know what they need? Maybe there's some areas that you could find some more information in. So yeah, we invite you to have a look and just see how things are going. And if there's more information you'd like to get, to maybe take a small step towards trying to figure out where you're going to find that information from. And my information and Kim's contact information is on the website as well. Please feel free to reach out to any one of the family support workers, and they would be happy to direct you to the resources. So have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we'll be back again, 1 o'clock, to talk more about knowledge of parenting and child development. Bye, everyone.
Have a great weekend.